Residents of East Grand Bahama not happy with the state of the roads in that district. More support for the Royal Oasis cleanup project. And homeowners calling for change. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, a group of residents and road users from East Grand Bahama coming together to voice their concern over the road conditions in that area. Hurricane Dorian rendered a portion of East Grand Bahama Highway impassable a year ago. Some work was carried out to allow movement, but these residents say it is still in a poor condition, adding that it is unsafe. Romiko Knowles has more.
A leading pastor in the community, Freddie Lang, says it is an unfortunate and dangerous situation. He notes that it has been over a year since Hurricane Dorian decimated East Grand Bahama, and there has been little to no work done to the road.
People is on the side of the road all the time with bent rim and all of the above. So it's very dangerous. It's not safe out here with these conditions, and not just at this particular point, but from Gold Rock Creek all the way to McLeanstown. There are huge holes in the road that desperately needs to be addressed.
Resident of Gambier Point, Marsha Cooper, is calling for an immediate solution. In addition, she says the hassle of getting to East Grand Bahama is slowing down the reconstruction process.
Because these same construction workers, we need them in order to complete our homes. And if they can't make it up here for work, how are we going to complete? And it only just makes the burden much heavier, much longer. We're frustrated.
Now, as the motoring public traversed east and west of the highway into East End, cars could be seen nearly having to come to a complete stop to avoid damaging their vehicles. Edmund Pinder, a McLeanstown resident, is also voicing his frustration with the poor road condition.
It's been very difficult. We have to basically zigzag, dodge big holes and stuff, and so it's really been a concern for us residents of East Grand Bahama. I know that someone might have would have made reference to this issue in social media a few days ago, and shortly after that we saw a report from our Member of Parliament.
They say the only thing left to happen now is a serious car accident, which they would like to avoid.
Well, today I stand in solidarity with the others and East Enders and travelers. We are appealing for immediate help, immediate resolution to this problem.
Romiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Now we contacted the Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for that area, the Honourable Peter Turnquest. He addressed their concerns.
There were several setbacks due to the contractor having lost his equipment himself in the storm, which was a significant delay. And then the whole onset of COVID caused another delay. And here we are a year later. We have been given assurances just this week that the development company intends to complete those repairs and have completed the scope of works which have been given to the contractor. And so within the next 4 to 6 weeks, they indicate that they expect that work to be begun.
Now, residents also lamented the state of roads throughout the settlements in the east. The area MP says it is being addressed.
I've just been in contact with the Minister of Works again today to bring him up to speed to the deteriorating condition of the roads, and he has given instructions to his engineers to begin the final scopes of work on that. So hopefully we will be able to get those roads repaired in short order. So all in all, again, this is just a part of the overall restoration activity that has to be completed in the district, and we do appreciate the inconvenience that the residents would have had to endure over this long year.
It has been a long and frustrating process for several families having to seek legal action against insurance companies after their homes were left in shambles in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Tonight, they are calling for reform in the judicial system as they say it has been too long and something needs to be done. Rumiko Knowles has more.
Technically, a year later, we still living like we're in an abandoned building.
It has been over a year since Hurricane Dorian ravaged this northern island and left scores of families to rebuild. Marvin and Latalia Dame's home sustained significant damage due to Hurricane Dorian and has since placed a matter before the courts to receive a claim from an insurance company. However, Dame says the matter has been in the courts for far too long.
No, the dates keep changing. Every time there's court, then it get postponed to another date. And it's like the third, fourth time this happened. You know what I mean? It ain't fair. You know what I mean? I understand we're going through hard times and all that, and due to COVID, you know, things are a little difficult, but I mean, this should be an open and shut case given the evidence in the writ.
Now, because the matter is still before the court, they are not able to give specifics regarding the matter, but he says the home sustained some $110,000 in damage due to the delay in court hearings. He's had to fund the repairs himself. Reconstruction began several days ago.
It's been very, very difficult from day one. For the 43 months after the hurricane, my family had to live in separate homes. My wife was one place, I was in Abaco, and my kids were in Nassau, and then I had two in the U.S. You know, and it's been hard. And I went back to work in January, and that only lasted for about 2 months before COVID hit. And then everything shut down, and the financial strain has been very difficult on my family.
Latori Simmons also has a matter before the court, and while he is unable to speak on the case against several insurance companies, he says both he and his mother worked during the storm, and all they were left with were the clothes they had packed.
I just had a couple of things in my backpack to stay at a friend's house, so literally everything else was gone. That brings up a situation where we're both essential workers, so we couldn't skip a beat. Even if we had the option to relocate somewhere, we couldn't, because my job is here, her job's here, and we didn't have that luxury, quote unquote, to stop working and seek refuge somewhere else. So we had to make it work, you know, find some place, pay rent, all that.
Understanding that COVID-19 played a major role in the delay in trials, Simmons adds that it has been over a year, and as an essential worker, he's had to work with whatever he had left. He says if their trial is going to continuously be delayed, this should be taken into consideration.
A lot of the benefits that were put in place by the government, VAT-free this, bringing in stuff duty-free, a lot of those are probably going to expire before we have any kind of recompense. So now people who've had the time to start putting stuff together because they have received some sort of partial or full recompense for their situation, we would be on the other side of that. So when it is time for us to replace everything, we won't even have the luxury of the programs that were put in place by the government.
Counsel and attorney at law for the families, Baron Duncanson, is calling for a modernized court system so that cases can be tried in a more efficient manner. Rumiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
The Royal Oasis cleanup project in the International Bazaar continues. Despite negative comments on social media, volunteers who are part of the program say the cleanup initiative is an excellent move that could help the city center. General Manager of Pristine Environmental Services, Brandon McPhee, says that he has been a part of the cleanup since the beginning back in late August. He says the site, adjacent to the International Bazaar, was extremely overgrown and littered with debris. He says the group began cleaning every weekend, but now they're at the site every day.
My role so far in all of this has been, I've been one of the point persons who has been orchestrating a lot of what you see happening behind you. You know, a lot of the debris removal, the restoration of the bridges, the woodwork. You know, we brought in Brian Maycock. He's doing a marvelous job. The bridges were quite old, of course. This place hasn't been touched in 17 years. So we saw it fit to restore the bridges and everything else. Clean the place up.
Leader of the Platinum Nights Junkanoo Group and a part of the volunteer team, Thomas Curry Jr. says he wanted to be a part of the initiative to help restore a site that held such fond memories for him.
I thought it was a good thing to come out here because it brings back a lot of memories, you know. And I always say to some of my members and other people, you know, landmarks or that investors are invested in the Bahamas. If they're neglected for so long, the government, the Port Authority, and Grand Bahamas should take it back and give it to the Bahamian people, you know, because we don't want to see the island just go down to troubles, you know. So I feel it's a good thing, it's a good initiative, and I feel we should keep it going.
Labor advocate Lionel Morley also noting the historic value of the site. He says he hopes that the cleanup initiative could attract potential investors. Morley also addressed what he called cynical comments he observed on social media.
As opposed to come and grabbing a shovel in these times where innovation and creativity should own the day. But the question I would want to ask or pose to some of them is, where's the owners for Royal Oasis? They've been the beneficiary of the Hotel Encouragement Act. They have gotten all the money from the hurricane, and they went and leave this property high and dry. Potential investors has passed this property, didn't even know it's behind these walls. Somebody come now and say, let's move it, beautify it, and make a garden where people could do wedding receptions, house parties, and get out of the house. And they are complaining. We have too many complainers and not much participation from the community.
Now, if you are interested in being a part of the initiative, McAfee says simply stop by Monday through Saturday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Psalm 34:1 declares that I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. As we go through this pandemic, and even as we go through the spirit of lockdown, I would like to encourage all listeners to let's keep trusting God. Let's keep our faith grounded in the Master who sits high. Not in our wildest dream that we would think that we will be facing what we're facing right now. Not in our wildest dream that we would have thought that the whole world would be at a standstill. But as we go through this, I want to encourage everyone out there to keep your eyes on God. Now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to lose heart. Now is not the time to lose hope, but to keep on believing, keep on serving, and keep on trusting. Like the song says, he's got the whole world in his hand. Hey, guess what? That means you and me. God has us. God has us in the palm of his hand. So as we go through this, I want to encourage you to keep your faith in God. Keep trusting him. Like the Bible says, some trust in chariots and some trust in horses. But hey, we will remember the name of the Lord. Why? Because the name of the Lord is a strong tower. It's a place where the righteous can run and find safety. So I want to leave with you with this last word of saying, trust God. I know sometimes it look weary. I know sometimes it look dark. I know sometimes we're questioning and wondering why or we are going through this, but trust God, for he knows all things. My brothers and my sister in Christ, now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to give in. Keep on pushing. Keep on believing, because hey, God got us. God got us. I want you to say that to yourself right now, that hey, God has us. Be blessed, be encouraged, and keep on trusting God with everything that you have. Love you with the love of Christ.
Local schools getting financial aid. That story when we come back.